Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back to the channel today. I'm Kevin, and today we're back to our First World War topic. So, in our last topic, we already talked about the beginning of the second phase of the First World War, and today we'll talk about another battlefield of the First World War. So, in many old topics, we talk about the battlefield on the land, right? We talk about the land battlefield, talk about battle, and talk about army, but on earth, on the land place. And now we're going to talk about the sea, the navy, and also about the warship. Of course, today we are going to talk about the North Sea Raiders. So let's come straight to our topic. So where opposing armies fought it out in the mud, British and German battleships also being extremely dangerous and having a lot of battle. So the German battleship and the British battleship prowled the waters of the North Sea. Most people expect a quick showdown between the two fleets in the grand tradition of previous war from the sea in the history. But the war at sea began with another tried and tested tactic, naval blockade. So the naval blockade, which means that the British has used their warships, the ships, to create a blockage. Yeah, they always going on patrol, taking their guard all and never let the German navy get out the patrol place, which means that yes, they're just going to close the patrol over and over so that they could take all the Germans, let's say the Germans navy warship, and that means they could win easily in the fight. So the British Navy set up a blockade around Europe in the moment war was declared, searching merchant ships of confiscating cargoes bound for Germany. German chemists invent substitute for goods that would have been import, explosive, fertilizer, and even coffee. But food rationing still had to be introduced, and people is hardly or barely find enough to eat. And that's the result from the plan creating a blockage from British to German people. And in that time, there are almost no one could get through the patrol of British, but there is one ship, one type of boat, or you could say one post, just even one post. Only one could get out of the patrol before it's completely closed. So German admirals were desperate to smash the blockage, but most of their fleet was trapped inside the North Sea by British warships. Only their submarines, known as U-boats, could slip past the patrols. So in February 1950, they ordered the U-boats to sink any ship sighted in British coastal waters. So in the years back in the history, in the years leading up to the war, the both sides always having a lot of small fight in the sea, on the sea. So there is some type of, let's say some type of battleship called the dreadnoughts. Yeah, just for you guys to know. So because we're going to talk about it in this part. So in the years leading up to the war, Britain and Germany has spared no expense improving and expanding their fleets. They began, which means the type of the battleship. The name is dreadnoughts, were paraded at sea, symbols of naval might, supported by an armada of other warships. Battle cruisers were lighter and faster than dreadnoughts, but still packed a powerful punch and shot to the enemies. Smaller vessels such as destroyer patrolled coastal seas, so that would make a big and also tight patrol on German. So that is how let's say the plan of British to take a patrol and trap the German Navy in the North Sea, in the North Sea by their warships. So that is about the situation. And now we're going to talk about some traditional in the worship of the First World War. So you guys, you so used, some of you guys and even me are used to the word semaphore. The semaphore, I don't know how to say it correctly, but we use to call it semaphore. It is the kind of body language that you will use flag to make the, let's say, to make poses, and then the people who see those poses will go into translate that pose, which means they're looking the pose by the eyes to the language that we have been, yeah, let's say, yeah, the language that we have agreed with each other, that when I pose like this is letter A, when I pose like this is letter B. Yeah, that's an example. So sometime in their history, the German and also British usually using the semaphore to communicate with each other. Nowadays, and even in the First World War time, they already have the wireless, let's say not as telephone, but it's just like a device that could send the vibration of the air and also of the sound. So for the details, so ships were fitted with wireless radio set that could send a long distance sound signals to each other so that they could make the Morse code, and then they could translate those codes into human language. But there is one disadvantage of the Morse, that is take from 5 to 10 minutes to really translate the Morse and then go to tell the leadership or the commanders about the message. So sometimes ships using the semaphore, which means using flags and boats to communicate with each other as a short distance, and this thing works as a slow and also let's say a short distance between two ships, which means that they could understand each other faster, but it requires a lot of problem or demand that you have to stay close to your allied ships so that they could see your boats. Then you have to go really slow so that the navy on your allied ships could see your boats, which means your allies could see your boats. And then the last thing that you need to know about how to pose and really know about the wind so that it's not sending the message wrong. And also that thing, the semaphore, sometimes cause a lot of disaster because they require so many things, and even the navy or the marines have to stand at the place where it's suitable, which means that at the place that people can see them and shot them or look at the boats so that they could translate language. But the enemies usually use those things to create, let's say, to create the unexpected attack, and also sometimes is created a disaster because of going to, let's say, too close with the allies and then let themselves being trapped in a patrol. Okay, and after that, the problem of the Morse is that it's so slow to translate if you don't really know about it, and it's also very hard to translate from the Morse to the, let's say, to the language from a long distance, even when the radio was made for long distance signals. And after all, it's also a problem that the Marines could translate the message to the commanders who is leading the war. Okay, and now we are back to our warship in the First World War. So the British fleet, after a long time of being trapped in the North Sea by, the German warships, after a long time of being trapped in the North Sea by the British, has tried to struck. They struck and sending a small group of cruisers and destroyers to attack German. Okay, that is a mistake. One more time, but yes, let me tell you guys about it again. So the British had struck into the trap, the place where they trapped the German. They're sending a small group of cruisers and destroyers to attack German patrols in the Helgoland Bight on August 28 and at the year 1914. They sank 2 torpedo boats and a destroyer, and then lured a batch of pursuing enemy cruisers into the North Sea. British warships steamed up to sink 3 of these cruisers, and over 700 German sailors lost their life. So this is how the war is going and starting. So On November 3, the German Navy began to turn its gun on British coastal town and Great Yarmouth was sailed. Then on December 16, their warships attacked Scarborough, Arleigh Bull, and Whitby. Whitby Clifford, a bay was left in ruins, and 139 people were killed before the raiders slipped the safety back to base. The raids outraged the country and embarrasses the Royal Navy, who saw itself as the nation's protector. And finally, in January 1915, the British Navy struck again. They had recovered 3 coast books from wrecked and captured German ships and were able to use this incredible good luck to read intercepted radio signals. So, for an explanation, this is mean that you could also hear the radio signal, or you could say the Morse, or anything you want, but you could hear the radio signals from the enemies. For example, when the police trying to find the communications between 2 criminals, so really sometimes in the mafia movies we usually see the criminals or the mafia using Morse to talk with each other by message, right? And then sometimes the police could become a lurker, which means they spy on the communication by the time 2 criminals communicate with each other by Morse, and then they try to translate all of those words at once and then know what is the plans between the criminal, and so that they could take those things, those information, so that they could, let's say, arrest the criminal and win the war between the bad and the crime. So the goods and the crime. So that's how that is the way that people try to spy on the enemies, or you could say other people radio signal, or you could say one more time is the intercepted radio signal. Read the intercepted radio signal. Okay, so on the night of January 23, they decoded an enemy message describing a raid planned for the morning, and when German warships crossed an area called Dogger Bank in the middle of the North Sea, across to the plant that British has spying on. So the British know that the German having the plans will come in the morning, so they already put their force and they got on. And when the Germans come, the British were waiting for them in force, of course. And of course, after that, the Germans tried to run, but there was no escape from the long-range guns of the British ships. 4 German warships were caught at Dogger Bank. 1 Blucher was sunk and another badly damaged. On the British side, the HMS Lion had to be towed back to port. But the good thing is, only 15 sailors lost their life. The German fleet had lost over 1,000 men, so which is obviously result that Germans were completely lost in the Navy wars this time. But of course, this is just one of many warship battles between British and German. And of course, after this event, the war between Navy in 2 sides is just begin. So that is all I want to say for you guys today about the Navy blends and also about the warship between British and German. And now I think that's all I want to say. Thank you for listening, and our video is a little bit too long, so see you in my next video. Bye bye.